Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about fiber. So what is fiber? So fiber is the indigestible material of a plant. There's two main types of fiber. There's soluble fiber. So soluble fiber will form a gel in contact with water in your digestive tract, and it's really good for cholesterol, because what it does, it binds to cholesterol and you can excrete the cholesterol better. Sources of soluble fiber would be oat, lentils, beans and apples. The second fiber is called insoluble fiber, and it's left intact as it moves through all the way through the colon. And it's particularly helpful for constipation. Well, both soluble and insoluble fiber are helpful, but insoluble fiber maybe more so. Sources of insoluble fiber would be whole grain and nuts, dry fruits. So what are the benefits of eating a high fiber? Well, it normalizes bowel movements. So if you've got constipation or diarrhea, increasing fiber can be helpful, but it depends again on the type of fiber you're eating. It helps to lower cholesterol level, as I mentioned. Helps control blood sugar. It makes you fuller for longer. Helps to achieve and maintain a healthy weight. And some studies are showing it helps you live longer as well. It's very good for heart health. And finally, and importantly, it helps to feed your good gut bacteria. So it's food for your bacteria. So how much fiber do you need? So the recommended intake of fiber is 30 grams. Currently, for women, we're achieving 17 grams, and for men it's 20 grams. I'm not sure what's the difference. So where can you find fiber? How can you increase your fiber intake? So I'm starting for breakfast, for example. If you're having a porridge, 40 grams of porridge would be about 4 grams of fiber. If you stop there, maybe that's not enough. So another way to add more fiber to your diet would be to add ground flax seeds. 1 tablespoon of ground flax seeds equals to 3.5 grams of fiber, which is amazing, really. And you could also add a handful of berries. That's adding 1 gram of fiber. And pumpkin seeds, 1 tablespoon would be 1 gram of fiber. So altogether, for your breakfast, you're reaching 9.5 grams of fiber, which is quite a good start to the day. So lunchtime, some tips for lunchtime would be, so there's no fiber in protein meat, so eggs or chicken. So for lunchtime, what you could do is in your sandwich, maybe go for whole grain, obviously. There's about 2 to 3 grams of fiber in each slice of bread. So you're up to 6 grams. And if you're adding an avocado, half an avocado is 4 grams of fiber. So you're up to 10 grams of fiber, and add a little bit of vegetables to it. So you see, that's another good way of doing it. Maybe more plant-based lunchtime. If you're having rice, a cup of rice is about 3.5 grams of fiber. Another good tip is to add legumes. They're quite hard. Beans are all quite high in fiber. Chickpeas, half a cup of chickpeas is 5 grams of fiber. And if you're adding mixed vegetables, courgettes, onions, that could be another 5 grams. So you're going up to kind of 13 grams of fiber with kind of a meal. Again, a good way to increase your fiber intake. Snacks. So how do you increase your fiber for your snack? A good one is nuts. Nuts are quite high in fiber. So for instance, a small handful, 23 almond would equals to 3.5 grams of fiber. And if you eat a pear with the skin on, pears are quite high in fiber, you are adding another 5.5 grams of fiber. So that equals to 10 grams of fiber for your snack. Dinner, you could have sweet potato, but keep the skin on again. That's where you've got the most fiber. A medium sweet potato is about 6 grams of fiber. Cooked broccoli, half a cup is 2.5 grams of fiber. And again, you know, you could have mixed leaves, spinach, lettuce, chard, arugula, and that's about 2 grams of fiber. So you can see how it's quite difficult. Start slowly, I suppose. But I think the best sources of fiber that is easy to add would be the mixed seeds to your porridge in the morning. If you look at flax seeds here, for example, and the way you know the fiber content of your food is that if it's above 6 grams per 100 grams, it's a high source of fiber. Anything at 3 means it does contain fiber, or it's a good source of fiber. So for flax seeds per 100 grams, we are up to 23.7, which is quite good. So that would be that's a good tip to add flax seeds. Another one is to have a little jar like this with all your little seeds, mixed seeds. I keep them in the fridge because they can go rancid. And the beans, I mentioned the beans earlier one. So here it's butter beans. So butter beans or any type of beans you can add to soups, you can add to stew. If you're having a stew with meat, just half of it and just add chickpeas or add beans, and you add a lot more fiber to your food. Another good idea as well with stews is to add frozen vegetables. So you're adding fiber, that's easy enough to do as well. And here, if I look at this, fiber per 100 grams is 6.4. So it's a high amount of fiber in that. Recommendation and warning with increasing fiber, just start slowly, especially if you've got digestive discomfort. With a lot of my clients, the problem is that because they've got digestive discomfort, they stop eating fiber altogether, or they're not increasing the fiber intake. And the problem is that you get into a chicken and an egg situation. You're not improving your gut microbiome because you're not eating fiber. So you can you can increase fiber, but slowly, and it's different type of fiber depending what kind of symptoms you've got. With fiber, increase water. So that's what I'm using at the minute, and I'm on my second glass, so that's about a liter of water, or just carry carry a bottle of water, etc., etc. I hope you found this helpful. I'll see you next week, and next week I'll be talking about gut microbiome in relation to mental health. Thank you.